Welcome back to Savage Bowling TV. Scott Gilmore here. Joining me is Kris Prather. And Kris, man, you've been on a heck of a run so far, the last three events. Tell us, how do you feel, and summarize your season so far today.
My season started off kind of rocky. I missed the first cut, made another cut, then missed the third cut. And after that, I was just like, okay, I'm doing something different from what I did in 2019 as far as how the ball was coming off my hand. And after talking to a couple of my ball reps, we decided that, they noticed that at the bottom of the swing, I was really grabbing it at the bottom instead of just letting it kind of fall off my hand and be real soft at the bottom. So that was causing my ball to read the front part of the lane totally different shot to shot, and was just confusing me because bowling at home on house patterns, you can hit it, you can spin it, you can do whatever you want. It's going to shape up to the pocket and most of the time strike. So being out here bowling against the best in the world, I was like, I have to be better. I have to figure this out and think about it in a different way, so that way I can start making cuts and have opportunities at titles and so on and so forth. And it was literally like, we went to practice session, threw a urethane ball, and most of the time when people throw a urethane ball, their hand gets real heavy and they try to make it hook. And for me, it was the complete opposite. I was like, wow, okay, this looks absolutely terrible. It just amplified what I was doing. So I was like, all right, I need to stop doing this and just, try less, essentially. So for me, it started off pretty rocky, and right now I'm feeling really great. Legs are pretty tired after bowling 200 games almost, but feeling okay. Looking forward to this week and a little break right before the World Series.
When you talk about the names of Jason Belmonte and EJ Tackett, and now you are hearing the name Kris Prather in the discussions of some of the top players in the world, how do you feel about that?
I try not to listen to it too much because I pride myself on being a pretty humble guy, and I don't want it to, I don't want to get this big ego, and think that I'm better than what I am, or a bigger name than what I am. And I like to come out, bowl, try to make some money, try to win, and just have fun doing it, because I see so many guys out here that are just angry after every single cut that they miss. And I'm not saying I've never been angry. I have been seeing red after missing a cut, but I'm trying to dial that in so that way I can understand, hey, you bowled poorly, what do you need to get better at, so that way it doesn't happen again. And I'm not saying I'm never going to miss another cut or anything. I might miss this one, who knows. But I'm just trying to stay humble throughout this process and continue this little bit of success that we're having.
Talk about the players again as you run the table, right? Bill O'Neill again in that title match. Obviously, he has some history. You feel like you owe him. He kind of owes you a couple here, right? But talk about how it takes to run the table like that on a stepladder match after match mentally.
Looking back at the show, like the one match that really stuck out to me was the Rash match, because I hear you laughing over there. He's standing over there, by the way, because it was by far the closest match of the show. But I think that both of us, the pattern was playing a little bit more difficult than it had the entire week. We were both a little nervous, and in my opinion, if he wins the match, he probably runs it, because he runs the ladder just like I did. Because at that time, we had a match on our belt. We had a better idea as to what the lanes were doing, and we didn't have to battle those nerves of, I'm throwing my first shot on TV for the TOC. We already had all that. So for me, I was able to just kind of relax, get all that emotion out, and just focus on what was important, and that being my process and what the lanes are doing, and just staying ahead of it. And I also think that it was beneficial for me that Belmo played too far left, and then Simonson and Bill both played too far right. And I'm not saying that they played them wrong. They had their game plan and they stuck to it. But at the time, if I was to be their ball rep and try to line them up. It would have been try to get in there where I was and stay left of all that friction and stay in the fresh oil because they hook so early there. And if you miss a little left, you got track to your left where I was playing, where Belmo was playing, so you got no hold, and you got no right because nobody had played right. So it's just, seeing the lane inversely in that aspect, I think really benefited me as far as how they played.
Well, now you got the major under your belt. You've made some good money so far this season. What's next on the list for Kris Prather?
I don't think it really changes that much because the season is so long that, and we haven't had a break. Like, it still hasn't hit me that I'm a major champion. Like, I literally won the TOC, drove the next day to Columbus, started bowling that day. So it was, just a whole, like, it was like I never stopped bowling. I just changed cities. So I think it'll be a little bit better time to kind of figure out new goals and everything like that once the playoffs are done and we have a little bit of a break between the first swing and the second swing of the season. But I don't think anything really changes. My goals are still the same, is to win every tournament that I possibly can, give myself an opportunity to win at the very least, and see what happens. People are talking about player of the year and everything like that, but we're in February. There's still so much time, and Belmo's having, another amazing year.
Another Belmo year,
yeah,
right?
Another Belmo year. And then you got Simonson, and you got Bill, you got, Tommy, Troop is one. Like, you got all these great bowlers that are in the same conversation. And I don't want to say, oh, I deserve it, or anything like that, because I could not make another cut for the rest of the season. But I could also win 2, 3, 4, however many times. You don't really know. It's hard to predict all these things. So player of the year would be cool, but it's not like I have to get it this year because I might not ever get it again. It'd be really cool if you guys voted for me, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I'm a patient guy.
Well, we'll wrap things up here quickly. What's your game plan here as we come back to another dual pattern event here in Indianapolis?
I think that they're going to play a little bit more similar than what you might think because the lane surface is so dominant. I threw a urethane ball a couple times and it literally hooked as soon as it touched the lane, and it would just, like, if I was, let's say I'm playing like 7 to 5, it wouldn't even get to 5 because it would check before I could even see it, and then it would just go up the lane. So I think it's going to be using all of that early hook, but with a reactive ball, maybe like a phase 2 or an idle or something like that, and just controlling the pocket. I don't think the scores are going to be too terribly high. I mean, they don't feel that hard, but they don't feel that easy either. I think it's going to just go back to shot repetition and making good ball choices.
All right, best of luck this week, Kris.
Thank you.
Hey, he's staying humble, but he's still one of the top guys on tour. Thanks for your time, Kris.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right.